This podcast is part of the It Was a Thing on TV podcast network.
Folks, before we start this episode, I want to apologize in advance for picking this episode as our viewer's choice last year. I didn't know what the hell I was thinking. I thought this would be hilarious to cover, but no, I was wrong, and I should be ashamed of myself. How's that, Mike?
Good enough.
Okay. Now let's get to the open.
An anthology on the bad, the short-lived, and forgotten shows and events in television history. You are listening to It Was a Thing on TV.
Time is up. You ran into trouble.
$10. How about that? Episode 584. Submission 713. Work It. Work It. Aired on the American Broadcasting Company from 2 episodes in the U.S. on January 3rd, 2012 and January 10th, 2012. And then the rest of the run, which went unaired in the U.S., aired in New Zealand from August 28th, 2013 to November 6th of 2013, giving us a grand total of 13 episodes, with 11 not airing in the U.S. at all. If you can believe it, ABC back then was actually legitimately looking out for us viewers. That's not a commentary on what's going on right now. I just thought I'd point that out for no reason. Okay, guys. Again, I'm very sorry for this. All right, we all love Bosom Buddies, right?
I love Bosom Buddies. I love the kids in the hall. I love RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah, cross-dressing is hilarious, okay?
And Bosom Buddies reruns on MeTV Plus. I think it's on like every Saturday at like 5 p.m. or 6 p.m.
That's right. So if you want to watch Tom Hanks and Peter Scolari get in all sorts of shenanigans, you can do that on MeTV Plus. Okay, what if somebody like 30 years later said, you know what, this concept is so good, let's like redo it for the 2010s. And I don't know, guys, this, Chico, you have to take it from here because I'm so sorry for having to give this to you guys. It's just,
Let the record show that I'm only doing this because I am a professional.
A professional.
Lee Standish and Angel Ortiz are best friends and car salesmen who find themselves a year removed from having lost their jobs.
No, so they've lost their jobs. So how are they going to get new jobs in this tough job market in the 2010s coming out of the recession, Chico?
You have to remember, this is the early 2010s. They're just sort of paring down the GM line. They sold Pontiacs. Now they're out of work. They need to find some work in order to make ends meet out in the streets. And the deal was, Lee always said, as soon as I have a job, you have a job. He found a job as a pharmaceutical sales representative, but there's a catch.
Oh, what's the catch?
Nobody wants to buy pharmaceuticals from a man.
What?
I know, it's weird. I mean, this would be around the time that Carrie Underwood guest starred as a pharmaceutical sales rep on that one episode of How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, I thought you were going to say this was about the time when Carrie Underwood said, we're waiting all day for Sunday night, which according to Mike Francesa, nobody waited a damn minute for Sunday night. That's the stupidest song I ever heard.
You know, this idea we waited all day. Well, it's the stupidest song that ever was created. No one waits all day. They watch football all day. Wait, I waited all day for Sunday night. No one waited 1 minute for Sunday night. They watch football all darn day. The dumbest, whoever thought it as this, I always say it's the most dumb, it's the dumbest thing I ever heard in the lyrics. I waited all day for Sunday night. No one ever waited 1 minute for Sunday night. They watch football all day on Sunday. Getting ready for Sunday night. That's the dumbest song ever created.
Wait. Men don't sell pharmaceuticals? First thing that came in my head is Nugenics.
That's right. Frank Thomas would sell us in a couple of years all the Nugenics on TV.
There's selling it, and then there's, pitching it. Frank Thomas can pitch it.
Greg, calm down. Bad.
Frank Thomas can sure. No, he didn't pitch. He wasn't a pitcher, Chica. What are you talking about?
A pitchman, not a pitcher.
Oh.
The firm that Lee is looking to work at is not looking for men.
Oh, okay. So they're looking for women. So surely he's not qualified for this job. So I guess he's going to have to find another job, right, Chico?
That's the thing. He can't find another job.
But I'm sure he can find a job in this market. I'm sure he could go over to Craigslist. I'm sure he can find something, right?
Of course not, because in the universe of Work It, they are going through something called a man session.
What?
That's the term posited by Lee and Angel's friend Brian. Why is Brian a part of this? I don't know, but there you go. Because he says the real problem with the world is that jobs are only hiring women now, not men, because it's a man session. Because this son of a bitch says it is. I'm not what you call a feminist, but I do understand feminism. I am what Monty Hoffman on Saved by the Bell once said. I'm sensitive to dames. I watch Oprah. I had to will myself to watch the rest of this show after what Lee did in order to land the job and what Lee convinced Angel to do also to land the job.
What did they convince themselves to do in order to land the job, Chico?
Put on their significant other's dress, shave their legs, put a little bit of rouge on the cheeks, get a wig, and work it.
What?
They're going to work. Lee and Angel are going to work as women.
Mike, this is a dumb idea, right?
I want to say yes, but I also want to say no. Just because, again, there's those parallels to Bosom Buddies, which is beloved, but at the same time, no, because it's 2012, not 1980.
Yeah, if we had a time machine back to like 1983 or something, I'm sure this would have been a big hit. But it's 2012. Times have changed.
We are accultured. Our sense of humor is sophisticated. This is neither cultured nor sophisticated. It's offensive to women. It's offensive to men. It's pretty much offensive to everybody. So let's talk about all of the people who make up the office in the show. Lee Standish is played by Ben Koldyke, who I know Greg and I remember him as Don Frank, who chose a career in news over a life with Robin on a crucial season 5 or season 6 episode arc of How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. That might have been during the Zoe season. I forgot a lot of shit from that season.
So there was that. he's been in a lot of other things, but nothing everlasting, let's just say. His best friend Angel, played by Amaury Nolasco. He's a very attractive man, just saying. We remember him as Fig Figueroa on 2007's Transformers, Jack Lapino in 2008's Max Payne, and Fernando Sucre in 90 episodes of Prison Break.
Oh, Prison Break. That was a big show back in the 2000s.
Playing their boss, Vanessa Warner, Rochelle Aites. Oh no. I can't believe it.
What?
Oh, no. We want to talk about setting cross-dressing back a couple of decades. She was in Medea's Family Reunion and White Chicks.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, Medea, okay, that's hilarious. Okay, Tyler Perry and Drag is hilarious. But White Chicks? No.
Also played Perry Pebbles Reed, L.A. Reid's wife, in Crazy Sexy Cool, the TLC story, if you remember TLC.
Well, who doesn't remember TLC?
Playing Lee and Angel's friend Brian, John Caparulo, edgelord comedian. He was also a panelist on Chelsea Lately. Our co-workers, Kelly is played by Kate Reinders. Kate Reinders, best known for 33 episodes of High School Musical, the series.
Well, you know what High School Musical, the series is best known for. It made Olivia Rodrigo's career the same way Wings made Tony Shalhoub's career.
284 episodes ago, Greg.
That's right. You know, we're nearing past 300 episodes when I first mentioned that I loved Wings. Episode 600 is going to mark 300 episodes since I first said it in episode 300. We're on the countdown to it. 16 episodes away.
Playing Kirsten, the receptionist, the very lovely Kirsten Eggers, who was on 6 episodes of American Housewife and a whole lot of stuff for the Disney Channel. And then playing the caddy office vixen, Grace Hudson, Rebecca Mader, best known for 22 episodes of Lost as Dr. Charlotte Lewis and 67 episodes of Once Upon a Time as Zelina / Kelly West. And then at home, you have Lee's wife, Connie, played by Beth Lack, who is in 9 episodes of Chicago Med, 6 of High School Musical, the series. She was in Mr. 3000 as a Pilates instructor.
Oh, Mr. 3000 with Bernie Mac. Classic. You know who has a cameo in Mr. 3000, Mike?
I've never seen it, but I'm sure the name's like right on the tip of my tongue, but I'm sure you'll tell me who it is.
Well, it's a pair of names, Mike. Tony Kornheiser and Michael Wilbon have cameos as themselves in Mr. 3000.
Now, that wasn't what I was expecting. I thought you were actually going to say like a legit baseball player.
Nope.
And then rounding out the cast as Lee and Connie's daughter, Kat, is Hannah Sullivan. And I really have to feel sorry for her because this is as good as her career is going to get.
Okay, so we've done through the cast. So, okay, we got 2 episodes that we only got here in the States. So, all right, let's get to. I only saw the first episode and I was like, screw this, I'm done. Nope. No. And I suggest this episode is a joke. So here's the lesson for viewer's choice for me now on. Just make sure to not do something as a gag. Like, I did not take the viewer's choice seriously, and there's probably a reason why it didn't win it. So, it's on me.
Pilot pretty much speaks for itself. The almost broken unemployed Lee finds out that Corico Pharmaceuticals is looking to hire sales reps, female sales reps. He takes a chance and goes into the interview dressed in heels, a skirt, and makeup. The transformed Lee gets hired as a woman. Lee wants to stay true to his agreement with Angel that if one of them is working, then the other will be too. So he tells Angel what he has to do if he wants a job at Corico. Angel, who is miserable working at a fast food dump, a taco stand to be precise, is desperate to make a change. He decides to swallow his pride and go for it. Unfortunately, he takes his interview, but when he fixes the boss's car, he too is hired, also as a woman.
We do have a name who's playing a manager in this episode, Josh McDermott. Eugene Porter on The Walking Dead.
Now we're going to go into episode 2. Now, how bad would this episode have been that made ABC go, screw it, we're done?
When newly employed Lee and Angel go out to the field as sales reps for the first time dressed as women, former salesman Lee is confident he'll be successful, while Angel is concerned his background as a mechanic will not serve him well. But when Angel's flirtatious ways earn him sales, while Lee constantly strikes out, Lee tries subtly to elicit advice from wife Connie on ways a woman can flirt with a man. After seeing this episode, I'd be done too.
Yep, that's probably the reason why ABC was like, no
We're
more.
done. We do have a couple names in this episode, though. Playing Dr. David Deutsch, Stephen Tobolowsky.
Oh, Ned Ryerson from Groundhog Day.
Yep. And Rules and Heroes, CSI Miami, and One Day at a Time.
In addition, Stephen Tobolowsky, he was in that live in front of a studio audience that Norman Lear did, like, just pre-COVID. He was on the Jeffersons. He was the neighbor to the Jeffersons.
He was Mr. Bentley?
I believe. But also, since we talk about Stephen Tobolowsky, first off, we talked about the potato chips ads he did for April Fools like 3 or 4 years ago. But also, Stephen Tobolowsky has a signed card in the Americana series. That might be the next one I'm going to buy. I got the Marshall Warfield today. Maybe I got to pick me up a Stephen Tobolowsky. I bet you I can probably get it for probably like $5 or $10.
And hold on, one other thing I want to mention. He is in, I believe it's a season 6 or season 7 episode of Knots Landing, because he's one of Greg Sumner's employees in that. Remember the surveillance town that they were building, Chico?
Yes.
Empire Valley?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's one of the workers for that.
Yeah, because the Sumner Group was looking to build, I guess, what you would now call a company town.
Yeah, so they could watch eyes on everybody in the town like Big Brother and stuff. And then Gary was like, fuck this, I'm going to blow this whole thing up. And he did blow it all up, and it was great.
Another name in this episode playing Dr. Keith Sorensen, Sam Anderson, Mr. Gorpley from Perfect Strangers. I almost said Family Matters. I am so sorry.
Well, Family Matters was a spinoff of Perfect Strangers, so I can't blame you for that. Wait, hold on a second. I'm looking at the Wikipedia. Okay, so according to critical reception, Matt Fowler of IGN.com gave the pilot episode a score of 0, a rating IGN had not used since, of all things, Olympic Hockey 98 on the Nintendo 64.
That's random.
I did not think of all the things on this episode that we could bring up. I never thought we'd bring up Olympic Hockey 98 on the N64. Man, that's an elite company.
I want to include this line from Emily Vanderwerf of the AV Club because it pretty much echoed the sentiments of, well, everyone. Let's get this out of the way first. Work It is awful. The grade should indicate that. But it's fascinatingly awful in that way where you wonder how the hell something like this got on TV in the year 2012.
I can tell you why it got on TV. People were stupid. That's probably why it got on the air. But you know what? A year and a half later, you know who thought, oh, we got to unearth the rest of this series? New Zealand. Because, okay, New Zealand really wants to watch the rest of this? Sure.
This is the country that gave us the Lord of the Ring film series. Certainly they'll give this show a fair, what am I saying? They probably thought it sucked too.
Yeah. But at least they were like, you know what? Let's just air this all the way. Let's just not make this lost media. Let's just air the whole freaking thing.
Episode 3, Close Shave.
Get it? Close shave? Mike is shaking his head like, no.
It's like, Mike is shaking his head. I'm burying my head in my hands. Greg's... I don't know what Greg's doing.
I'm face palming with my left eye.
Office gossip swirls about what Lee was doing when he shaved his face with an electric razor in the stall of the ladies' room. Meanwhile, Connie expects her husband to pleasure her. Oh my.
Oh.
Greg, you're not allowed to choose anything for reviewer's choice anymore.
Oh, no. I've told you many times, I've learned my lesson, and unlike some people, I mean it.
Episode 4, Space Invaders. When Lee and Angel join the Office Book Club, they come to the realization that it's just an excuse to snoop in each other's lives. Meanwhile, Connie is overly enthusiastic about taking Kat to a Justin Bieber concert.
Oh, yeah, because this is 2012. Justin Bieber's a thing.
Next episode, Breast Awareness Week. Oh, God.
Oh.
Is this going to be nuanced and multifaceted, or is this going to be played for cheap laughs?
Okay, wait, what did you say episode 5 was?
Breast Awareness Week.
Okay, well, apparently, according to Wikipedia, this is episode 7. So I'm just going to make us, we're just going by whatever IMDb says, just for the record. Okay. Go ahead, Chica.
Angel's outlook changes when he learns the horrors of breast cancer. Meanwhile, Kristen and Lee are sent to peddle pharmaceuticals to the doctor whom Connie works for.
Uh-oh.
I'm looking for a name, but while I'm looking for a name, I just want to point out the writer of this episode. And with the writer of this episode, you would expect something nuanced and multifaceted. Claudia Lano.
Of course, Diana Fairgate from Knots Landing. There you go. 2 Knots Landing references in this episode. And, you know, that makes total 3 for the week. So I think I've hit my quota for the week.
Episode 6. Immaculate Deception. Kelly drags Angel to a psychic who reveals Angel is pregnant. Oh no. No.
No, that must be psychic.
You're getting railroaded.
No, you're getting fucking ripped off. That's what I'm telling you.
Meanwhile, Lee discovers his new job has jeopardized his relationship with his daughter.
Yeah, I bet it has. I bet this job has really put a damper on that relationship. Isn't that right, Mike?
Why are you dragging me into this? You see, my takeaway from this episode is the director and the writer of the episode. The director is Jeff Melman, who did many episodes of OG Night Court back in the 80s. And the writer of this episode was Brian Keith Etheridge, who produced quite a few episodes of Mike and Molly. That's all I wanted to add. Don't drag me into how this psychic with this A person dressing up as a woman who's pregnant. Yeah. Don't just move on.
I can't believe this show has so many talented people behind the camera. I can't believe they're working on this, but they're working on Work It. But
too bad they couldn't put him in front of the camera.
Yeah, I know.
Playing the psychic, Svetlana Efremova, best known as Irina Morozova on the Apple TV Plus show For All Mankind.
Oh, everyone loves that For All Mankind. You know, and I did not know this, but I found out on Omnibus that it tapes on the Sony lot, I believe next door to Jeopardy.
Was that one of the things they discovered when John Roderick got stopped by the security on the Sony lot?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. That's one of the, not necessarily running gags, but one of the great things about Omnibus. When John Roderick went to go see Jeopardy with obviously Ken Jennings on the set, he got stopped by the Sony security. And this comes up like seemingly like every other week or every third week on the Omnibus.
You could have just said I want to tour all the fancy places that were when it was the MGM lot before they sold all the costumes and stuff.
Episode 7, Girl Fight. Angel becomes jealous when Lee blows off the trivia game to hang out with Kristen, and Kelly and Grace manage to worsen the situation. Josh McDermott returns, but as the quiz MC.
Well, that's a coveted role, being a quiz MC.
Everybody loves the quiz MC.
That's right, like Ned Hastings, our host. Now, see, Mike, that was a reference to the Wayne the Brain episode of Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
I've seen that one. I know what you're talking about.
That's right.
Episode
I'm just
8.
wait. Hold on. I want to get this out of the way. Greg. I think I know why you're laughing. I'm taking a look at the next episode. Get through this with a straight face, Chico. That's my dare to you.
Episode 8, Surprise Package. Lee plans to spend a quiet night alone for his 40th birthday, but his coworkers drag him to a male strip club while Connie awaits his arrival for a surprise party. Meanwhile, Angel accidentally takes an erection pill.
He didn't break up while doing that. I gotta commend him. But on the other hand, Greg is like doubled over in laughter.
Now, okay, that is funny. If I had stayed to watch that, okay, maybe it would have been worth it. But no.
Playing the MC in this episode, Michael Patrick McGill, who was in 91 episodes of Shameless from 2011 to 2021. Episode 9, Hunger Games. Lee's coworkers encourage him to go on a diet. Meanwhile, Angel coordinates fashions for the ladies at work, and Kat hangs out with a pretentious classmate.
Oh, by the way, Hunger Games, huh? I wonder what that's a reference to in 2012.
I don't know, but I bet it makes Jennifer Lawrence's career.
No, that one episode with Monk, where she was the mascot, made Jennifer Lawrence's career. Because as we all know, if you're on a show with Tony Shalhoub, it's going to make your career, just like how Wings made Tony Shalhoub's career. Mike, you agree, right?
This is the second time you've mentioned Tony Shalhoub in this episode.
That's right, because, we're so excited about Tony Shalhoub breaking bread that we have to mention Tony Shalhoub again.
No, I was actually going to say you're excited because we're like, 16 episodes away, 17 episodes away from the big 600. So that means we've literally talked about Tony Shalhoub in half the episodes and only half the episodes since we started in episode 300.
Yeah, because as you know, you can search for episode 0 to 299. You'll never hear us reference Tony Shalhoub in Wings. You'll never hear a reference to that because I made a big announcement that I was going to save for 300. That was going to be the first time ever I mentioned that I love Wings. And I did. I mentioned it for the first time ever in episode 300.
I bet you right now somebody's going through the back catalog to verify that that never happened.
Yeah, and you'll verify it. It never happened. Trust us.
We would never lie to you. Wink, wink.
Episode 10, Cinderella Story. Angel's coworkers decide to orchestrate a reunion with his estranged father and throw him the Sweet 16 party that she never had.
Oh, no.
This is not going to end well, folks. I think we're all in trouble, guys. Meanwhile, Connie goes to extreme lengths to prove she's the rightful owner of Brian's Pac-Man lunchbox.
Mike, did you ever have a Pac-Man lunchbox?
I did. Yes.
Oh.
I don't think you guys know this, but back in like 1980 and 81, I had so much Pac-Man stuff. I loved that game. And even now, anytime there's like a new Pac-Man compilation for like the Switch, I get it, even though it's the same games over and over, because they only pack like the same like 8 versions of Namco games, but I buy every single one of them. Back when I was like 5-6 years old, I had the Pac-Man lunchbox, I had the Pac-Man t-shirts, I had a Pac-Man stuffed doll, animal, whatever you want to call it. There were Pac-Man trading cards. I know I had those back in the day. Wish I would have kept them because they're actually worth money nowadays. But yeah, I absolutely loved Pac-Man as a kid, and 45 years later, still do.
Oh, but the best part is, Mike, you know what's coming to Atari 50? They're releasing in this DLC the Atari 2600 Pac-Man.
I think I'll take a pass on that.
Well,
if they have the Atari 5200 Pac-Man, though, I would get that.
Episode 11, Masquerade. Oh, no.
Say it, Chico.
Masquerade Balls.
Bulls. That's what Jeff Ferguson would say. Bulls.
Lee's secret identity is jeopardized when he runs into Kristen at Connie's office costume party. Meanwhile, Angel gets a company credit card, and Grace and Kelly vie for the affections of the maintenance man. As Dave Bowden, the maintenance man, John Brotherton, best known as Dr. Matt Harmon on Fuller House.
Okay. Fuller House. The sequel to Full House. Doesn't that air somewhere, though, now, Fuller House?
On Great American something or other?
It was somewhere for a brief while. I haven't seen it for a while. It may be like Chico said, like on Great American Country, or I don't think it was Freeform, but it was somewhere kind of briefly for not that long. I mean, like I said, I remember seeing it, but I haven't seen it in a bit of time.
Episode 12, My So-Called Midlife Crisis. When Lee gets her ears pierced at work, he covers it at home by pretending to have a midlife crisis. Meanwhile, Angel's coworkers think he's a lesbian, and Brian takes a job as a hospital greeter.
Now we finally reached the final episode.
Final episode, Field of Schemes. When Lee beats out Grace for the title of monthly sales leader, they each play dirty to land a client. Meanwhile, Angel tries to get David Freeze to autograph a baseball, and Brian finds a potential love interest at a Cardinals game.
Now, this is 2012. This would have been the year after the 2011 World Series, where David Freese hit the big home run for the Cardinals in Game 6. So this probably would have been his notable thing had this aired on ABC in 2012. But you know what his most notable thing he did in the 2012 season was, Mike?
What's that?
Striking out to make the last out for Johan Santana's no-hitter.
Okay. That was in 2012 only?
Yeah, that was Johan Santana's no-hitter. It was 2012.
Can't believe it was that recently.
Yeah.
Another name in this episode playing Dr. Prescott, John Rubenstein. Harrison Fox, Jack Warden's kid on Crazy Like a Fox.
Oh, second Crazy Like a Fox reference this week. So let's keep count. We have 3 Knots Landing references this week and 2 Crazy Like a Fox references this week.
That's it. That's the show. So what happens other than duh? We've covered so many shows on this podcast. This is the first show that I can think of that got a 0 score on Rotten Tomatoes.
And that's saying a lot. If you get a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes, that tells you, this is not good at all. Like, no critic in their right mind would say, yeah, you know, I kind of liked it. No, nobody liked it.
Can we also add that we had this scheduled, I think, at least 3 other times for now, and it kept on getting delayed and delayed and delayed. Are you proud of yourself, Greg, that we actually did this?
I'm finally glad we got this out of the way.
And we're never going to talk about it again.
No. It's going to be in that pile of shows that we never want to discuss, we never want to bring up again.
Now, you know what it's going to be like, and I just saw this, I think this was on the Fun for All Ages Facebook group, the Frank Santapadre podcast. Somebody made a mention that, I'm guessing it was the disco episode that got released this week. Somebody mentioned that it might be the only podcast released this week where there is a reference to Eyeshide. And it's like, I know we've talked about Eyeshide in the past. I almost wanted to link, but I didn't want to, break any rules about promotions or anything like that. But this may be the only podcast you'll find on these internets this week which talks about Work It. And we spent, 45 minutes talking about it? 40 minutes? Whatever.
Like I said, Bosom Buddies did this concept better 30 years ago. But it's like, we're now in 2012. We've kind of evolved somewhat from 1980 when Bosom Buddies was on the air.
And even Bosom Buddies, after 2 seasons, abandoned the premise.
Yeah, they did. In the second season, they abandoned the premise of them cross-dressing as women. So it's like, okay, if this show is going to last like 6 seasons in a movie, like how long can you keep this up? Really?
In 2012, I think we already have our answer.
Yeah.
2 episodes.
Wait, Greg, are you actually wishing upon us?
No, I'm not wishing it on anybody, Mike. Why would you think I would wish that this would get 6 seasons in a movie?
Well, you mentioned it. I'm just curious.
No, I was just saying it potentially. Okay, if you're thinking about this long term, this would get 6 seasons in a movie. How long are you going to keep this premise up? Exactly, Mike.
It gets flimsy after a while, but I've said it in the past. I think we even talked about it like when we were talking about Look Well. Yes, the first episode is good, but what do you do for episode 2? What do you do in this case for episode 14, 15, season 2? I'm not even going to go to season 3, but I totally get that the bloom is sort of off the rose here. But also, this is just, sorry, I don't want to say offensive, but I would say it insults my intelligence, even in 2012. I'm glad this is one thing that just totally avoided my radar.
Yeah. In 2012, ABC was 2 and done, but New Zealand thought, we'll pick up the tab from you, ABC. And they aired the rest of this thing on TV.
You can find us at our website, itwasathingontv.com, on Facebook at It Was a Thing on TV podcast, and elsewhere at It Was a Thing on TV. You can find us on any podcast player, and we're also on YouTube, where you can subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with our releases, including what's coming up next time. Next week, we're actually going to start a little block of 3 shows over the next 2 weeks regarding a certain subject. regarding the 50th anniversary of a certain TV show. You guys know what it is. If you've been paying attention, you know what's coming. Unfortunately, we really do know what's coming. Shane Wickline's returning for a second season.
I told you, Mike, Nepo babies last forever.
But you have good Nepo babies like Abby Elliott, and then you have bad Nepo babies like Jane Wickline. But anyhow, we're going to cover 3 different topics related to this show that's going to have its 50th anniversary real soon. Boy, I wonder what it is. But we're going to start off by going back a little bit to another one of those seasons that was just lackluster for various reasons. It wasn't as bad as season 6, which we've covered previously. It wasn't bad like season 10, which we covered previously. This season, it had the semblance of a good cast, but I think there's other reasons why this may not have been so good. Specifically, there was a new kid on the block. We'll talk about that next time, right here at It Was a Thing on TV. As always, thank you so much for listening. Please be kind to each other. Please stay safe. And we'll catch you here next week with that episode.
Wow!
What are we even going to put in the end here? Is there a New Zealand commercial coming next on New Zealand television? Here's episode 8 of the hit series, Working It.
Working it?
Work it. Here's the
Working it. Hold on.
Wait.
No, that will be on our network. Working it with MeToons TV.
Here comes episode 8 of Work It. This is the episode where the guy takes some Viagra. What's a chick doing taking Viagra? And then Greg laughs in the background because he didn't take a look at the capsule. He was surprised by Chico ending on that note. But remember, go watch this episode on New Zealand TV in 2012. You're going to love it, mate. I know mate is an Australian term. New Zealand's close enough.
Good thing I was muted because I thought he talked over me. But all right, Cal, let's finally end this.